I'm an antiquarian horologist, and horology is the study of time. I specialize in automata, mechanical music, and complicated musical clocks and watches. I'm also a museum-certified horological conservator, which means anything that I do, the methods that I use, adhere to a very strict code of ethics. I collected music boxes when I was young, and one of those people that take everything apart. I was fascinated by that and started collecting watches as well. And if I had known it was something I could grow up to do, I probably would have gotten started when I was 6. Definitely watches were a stepping stone for me, but my intense interest has always been with automata and other mechanical objects that use watch or clock-based mechanisms to produce an illusion or a function that can't be produced any other way. This is effectively a small bird. It's made to look like a bird and act like a bird, and it's all controlled mechanically through wires and levers that are internal. Working with the singing birds, especially when you have to recreate a bird or you get a naked little bald bird, you bring it back to life, and adding the feathers, it's like you're dressing it up. I enjoy the wide variety of objects I have the privilege to work on. This is a Grande Sonnerie carriage clock. The repeat work, there's something hanging up in the sense that it's not repeating the time correctly as it should. This is a disc music box, so it plays these large perforated discs. I have multiple bird boxes, scientific scales, an automaton banjo player. 1850s to early 1900s was kind of a golden age for these types of automata. People really liked having these dolls that did lifelike things, from playing instruments to smoking actual cigarettes. One of the rarest objects I worked on was this tiny automaton ship mechanism. It had a musical component, but that wasn't working. And I'm happy to say I restored that and got that working and built a case from sterling silver for it. And it's a small item that fits in your pocket. Working with automata provides you with an experience you would never get anywhere else. There's a magic to them. It's this suspension of belief that you just can't replace. I do all of this horological conservation work at my private studio, but I have a workshop that's in South Seattle where I teach classes and do a lot of the other things that I like to do, from gear cutting to engine turning. It's a technology that's been around since the 16th century. And to think that these types of machines were used to decorate watch cases and dials, which is where I first learned about it. This is an example of guilloche, or engine turning, particularly a moire pattern, a very tight moire pattern. It's a privilege to be able to share that information with people. It's important to me in my mission in cultural heritage and preserving these trades to offer classes so that people can learn this technology as well. Are you going to go all the way to the center, Jeff?
That's my plan.
Like many of the esoteric things I do, I don't want it to vanish with time. I would not be doing what I do if I didn't absolutely cling to it with everything I am. It absolutely has to be your passion. Because it's very tedious, it's very frustrating. You just have to keep with it because it's the reward of seeing it finished that makes it really worthwhile. You have to have grit.